Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. I'll try to make this video as short as I can. Now, it's a laughable matter when Christians tell us that the Torah that they have in their hands now is the same Torah which Moses wrote roughly 3,500 years ago. They say no alterations, no additions, or corruptions have been made with those books written by Moses. Let's put this to the test. Now, without pursuing this argument any further, we can debunk this claim just by simply asking them, how do you know Moses wrote the book of Genesis? Where in your Torah, quote unquote, or Tanakh, does it state that Moses wrote the book of Genesis? There is no such text to be found in any of the books of the Old Testament. Rather, we find the oral tradition that it was Moses who wrote the book of Genesis. Now, I know Christians run to the New Testament saying Jesus said Moses wrote the law, and Moses said this, and Moses said that. However, this does not prove the fact that the book of Genesis, the 50 chapters of Genesis, was written by Moses. So this argument can be easily busted. But we'll take it a step further. Now, let me go back to the initial argument. Christians claim the Torah they have in their hands now is the very same Torah Moses wrote. Right. According to Deuteronomy 31:26 to 29, we read that Moses wrote the book of the law, the Torah, and he gave it to the chiefs so they can place it inside the Ark of the Covenant. Now, according to the Midrash commentary, Devarim Rabbah 9:4, we read that Moses wrote 13 scrolls of the Torah, gave 12 scrolls to the 12 tribes of Israel, and the 13th scroll he asked them to place inside the Ark of the Covenant. We also read in the Talmud Menachot 30a, where Rabbi Shimon said, is it possible that a single letter of the Torah can go missing? Since the Torah was placed inside the Ark of the Covenant. And this is also verified in Talmud Bava Batra 14b, where the Torah scroll, the 13th Torah scroll, was placed inside the Ark of the Covenant. Here's the problem. If nothing was added after the Torah scroll was placed inside the ark, according to Bava Batra 14b or Talmud Menachot 38, how did chapter 31:26 all the way till the end of Deuteronomy chapter 34:12 make its way to the Torah when it was safely locked inside the Ark of the Covenant? Who opened the ark? And how did all of those chapters end up being part of the Torah? Who added all of those chapters? Now, tradition tells us it was Joshua. But wait a second. I thought it was Moses who wrote the Torah, not Joshua. It gets worse. If the Torah was placed inside the Ark of the Covenant by the followers of Moses by his instructions, Deuteronomy 31:26, how comes it wasn't in the Ark when Solomon brought it back, 2 Chronicles 5:10? How comes the Torah scroll was not inside the Ark? Where did it disappear? If the chest was unopened, how could it go missing? Either Solomon picked up the wrong ark, or the people of Moses did not listen to Moses and put the scroll inside the ark. This is also confirmed by Hebrews 9:4 that the Torah scroll was not inside the ark according to Deuteronomy 31:26. Hebrews 9:4 reads, containing the golden altar of incense and the gold-covered ark of the covenant. Inside the ark were the gold jar of manna, Aaron's staff that had budded, and the stone tablets of covenant. So wait a second. I thought the Torah scroll, or the Torah itself, as Christians believe to have, was inside the Ark of the Covenant. So where did it go? It all of a sudden disappeared. It just went missing. How comes? So the question is, how do you know the Torah which you have now is the exact same Torah which Moses wrote and put inside the ark? How do you even know if Moses even put the Torah inside the ark? If Moses' followers really put the Torah of the law inside the ark, why wasn't it found inside the ark? Do you see the problem? It just gets worse. I mean, it's a laughable matter. And this is why I'm saying it is a laughable matter that Christians tell us that they have the very preserved Torah which Moses wrote. Yet when we scrutinize the text of where the Torah was after the time of Moses, this is what we get. Now, I'm going to add another issue to this from the oral tradition, which really takes the biscuit. According to the Talmud, Temura 16a, after Moses departed, 3,000 commands, laws were forgotten. They, the Israelites, asked Joshua, the successor of Moses, to bring back those forgotten commands, laws back. Joshua said he can't, so they tried to kill him. So hold on, guys, let's ponder upon this for a second. After Moses departed, according to the Talmud, the oral tradition, the Jews tell us that two laws were given to Moses at Mount Sinai. The Torah, according to the Hebrew word Torah, is used in the Torah, meaning more than one law. So they say it's the written law and the oral law. So according to this oral law, which they preach and they teach, they are telling us that 3,000 laws were forgotten after Moses departed. Can you imagine 3,000 laws? Wow. Joshua, the successor of Moses, was unable to bring those laws back. He went as far as saying, those laws are not in the heavens anymore. Whatever came down stays down. So we can see that the problem of the preservation of the Torah had an issue from the beginning. So this isn't something new that we can say, oh, well, it was only a few hundred years ago. This is something that started from the beginning of preservation. Dear brothers and sisters, it's easy to make the claim that the Torah has never been, corrupted, tampered with, and it's been the same since the time of Moses. But once scrutinized, we can see that they do not have anything from the time of Moses. In fact, we have no manuscripts that go back to the time of Moses. Forget about having the same Torah from that time. We don't even have manuscripts from even like latter books. Example, the book of Malachi or Zechariah. Nothing of that sort. The earliest fragments we have are from the DSS fragments. Even the Septuagint text starts from the 4th century. I mean, we have a problem. The Masoretic text starts from when? The 10th century onwards. Samaritan, even that, the Orthodox Jews, they dispute regarding the Samaritan or the DSS. They're stuck to the Masoretic, which is from the 10th century. So we have a problem. Ibn Ezra himself even said the last portion of Deuteronomy was written by Joshua. Here's the problem, though. According to the book of Joshua, he passed away, and it was written that he passed away. Now, who wrote that part? Do you see? It just continues. The problem arises. So when Christians do tell us that they have the text or the Torah the same and it's never been corrupted, simply just ask them, well, your Bible says that Moses left the Torah inside the Ark of the Covenant. And then when we read from the latter books, for example, the second books of Kings or Chronicles, Second Chronicles, Solomon bringing back the Ark of the Covenant, how comes the Torah wasn't inside? You had the tablets inside, which another issue, we don't have the tablets, but let's, for the sake of argument, the tablets were inside. What about the Torah? Did not Moses say to place the Torah? Does not the oral tradition, the Orthodox rabbis tell us that the Torah was placed inside? If it was placed inside and if it was sealed, who opened it? How did it get out? And how do you know what you have is accurate? Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.